Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on 3 horror movies. First up is Don't Move by Sam Raimi. Bibi, a woman suffering from migraines, being haunted by a thing. And Daddy's Head, which is a very strange title. Smash a like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 15, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. Sam Raimi produced this one. It's called Don't Move. The premise is a serial killer injects a woman with some sort of drug that will paralyze her completely in 20 minutes. And so she has 20 minutes to get away, and it's sort of a cat and mouse game. And then, can she get away from him? You can't move, you can't scream, you can't fight, and you can't run. So how can she get away from him is the question. So it's a tense, almost psychological thriller. Very uncomfortable, I would say. Written by T.J. Kimfel and David White, directed by Adam Schindler and Brian Netto. So it took 2 people to write it and 2 people to direct it. It don't look bad. Rated R for adult situations. October 25th, good Halloween movie on Netflix. So, yeah. Not a bad premise. I wouldn't want this thing to be a second over 90 minutes, though. I don't know, man. 90 minutes, and you gotta be out. You got to be out. So, not bad. I like the lead. She has a good look. I think you could make this work if you keep it very, very tight. It's on Netflix, I think. Is this a Shudder one? No, this isn't the Shudder one. So, yeah, let's get the IMDb write-up. Don't move. It follows a seasoned killer as he injects a grieving woman with a paralytic agent. She must run, fight, and hide before her body shuts down. So, a little bit different. A little bit different. I would break it down like this. It's probably going to be first act, you establish the character, how she meets the guy, he injects her. Tells her you got 20 minutes. Second act, she's got 20 minutes to get away. She spends 20 minutes trying to get away, but slowly she's being paralyzed. And maybe she gets away from him, but then he finds her. He tries to transport her, but she still can kind of try to talk and move, and it's not really working, but she's trying to signal to people. And then in the third act, somehow she's managed to signal someone, and she lives, would be my guess. They did a similar thing in the Twilight Zone, I believe it was, about a guy who goes into the hospital and he's paralyzed, except I think he can blink. I think he can blink or like move his finger or something. And he manages to finally, they think he's dead and they're going to dispose of his body, and basically, and he just at the last minute manages to convince them that he's alive. So, yeah, it looks pretty psychological horror. I think it could work. Number 2 is Bibi. So this is a thriller movie about a woman who suffers from migraines, and she's going to her therapist, and she's having issues, taking pills. This is a typical protagonist in a lot of horror movies because they're already vulnerable. But she's being stalked by some supernatural creature or guy, possibly because her sister died, I think. There's some flashbacks here that I'm seeing out of context. I think her sister died, and now the supernatural creature has come back. Written and directed by Christopher Beatty. So this looks solid. The trailer's very well done. It's got the sound of a toy carousel and other sounds from the movie being repeated over and over again to build the tension. So yeah, I think this could work. First act, she's having a lot of problems. She's going to the therapist. She's telling her problems, but nothing's working. Then she sees the supernatural being reappear. Maybe in a dream or in real life, but slowly she sees it more and more. She's trying to convince people. They think she's crazy. She's already on pills. She's already having issues. She's the only. Eventually, she realizes she's the only one that can help herself throughout the second act. But the supernatural creature gets closer and closer until finally her daughter invites it in, and then there's a final confrontation in the end. So let's read the write-up. In the gripping psychological thriller, Bibi, a grieving woman consumed by her own demons, must confront a relentless stalker who blurs the boundaries between nightmares and reality, forcing her to question her sanity. A little tougher of a movie, I think. It's when you start going into the sanity of a character, there's a lot of danger in doing that. But yeah, it looks scary. Again, wouldn't go a second over 90 minutes. Finally, a really weird one called Daddy's Head. About a kid who his father dies. This is from Shudder, and then I think the mother remarries, and they're being haunted by the father. Somehow, he keeps seeing the kid in the woods, and there's a strange building out in the woods. I'm not sure why it's called Daddy's Head. I think he keeps seeing his head. Some sort of evil being. And that maybe kills other people. But it's trying to corrupt the son. The mother's trying to save him. It's weird. It's a weird pitch. But the Shudder guys, they're no slouches to horror. So it does look pretty freaky. And so first act, the father dies. It's very traumatic. Cut to maybe a year later, trying to put their lives back together. Second act, she's seeing someone. She finally introduces them to the son, and that causes him some problems. He's not dealing with it well, and he starts seeing his father. Starts trying to lure him out into the woods. Some sort of supernatural being, the father beyond the grave, or something that takes the form of his father, keeps trying to lure him out. It gets worse and worse and worse, and finally, third act confrontation. So, 3 fairly, similar movies. Let's see. See if we got a write-up here. We might not have a write-up for this one because it's a Shudder movie. It's a freaky name, though. Daddy's Head. Weird. A boy and a stepmother. Oh, she's the stepmother. Fear for their safety after an eerie creature resembling the boy's recently deceased father visits them. Director Benjamin Barfoot. Also the writer. So, wow. These all look very creepy, very scary. Good movies for Halloween. Which one? Which one I would put on the bottom? These are both, all 3 of these are pretty good. What would I put on the bottom, though? Which one? Oh, shit. I guess Bibi. Bibi looks, and it's a close race, keep in mind. Bibi looks to be the least interesting, I'll say, only because I don't know how much in 90 minutes of a woman with headaches I could take. That's it's almost arbitrary. They're both very close to each other. And then after that, God, it's so close. Second, I guess, would be Don't Move. Yeah, only because I'm not sure. I'm not sure you could sustain the paralyzation for 90 minutes. It's kind of a classic theme. I like the look of it a lot. And then I guess at the top would be Daddy's Head, just because it's so weird. And I do like monsters, and they seem to be a little more monster oriented, so that might appeal to me more. But man, it's a close race. I would put all the three of these movies in my queue. I would definitely watch these if I was looking for a horror movie on streaming. I probably wouldn't go to the theaters for any of these, but definitely on a streamer. All right, that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on the green site, the orange site, and the black site, the other sites that show videos for our other two videos. The black site I'm not updating right now only because I ran out of imaginary credits again, so I had to build them back up. I will be at the Marcus Hook Pirate Festival tomorrow. I believe it's 10 to 5 in the park there. 10 to 6 it goes, but I got to leave at 5. Then I'll be at the Pine Barrens Maker Fest in Hamilton, New Jersey on Sunday. So hope to see you there. We'll see you tomorrow.